And now it's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello everybody and welcome. Here we are on a Wednesday, and it's a little bit nippy out there this morning, but going to be a wonderful Wednesday, and we thank you for joining us. We're on the air for Cedar Stone Bank each Wednesday at this time, and most of the times we speak with Bob McDonald, who's President and Chief Executive Officer. But I can't believe it today. Bob is not with us, and Bob has not called in this morning, and nobody else has shown up, so we're just going to talk about him a little bit this morning. It's Cedar Stone Bank of Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and Donaldson. Simple banking, simply better, and that's been their slogan, their motto from the beginning. And of course, we talk an awful lot about the free checking, which we'll get to in a little bit here. But they are full service in every way, and as we say, you can get your loan at Cedar Stone. And Bob has been in his position as President and Chief Executive Officer all the time from the very beginning, and I forget how many years, but most of those years they've been right here on Wednesday morning, and we've been talking with them about all the services that they offer. Simple banking, simply better, loans, checking accounts, just about anything that you can think of, and they have everything wasn't the internet and the all the things that pertain to it were not as advanced when they started, and they have certainly stayed up with the times. You can bank at home. You can rarely ever visit the bank, in fact, and keep right up with things if that's the way you want to do it, but they love to see you, enjoy you coming in and saying hello and sitting down and having a cup of coffee at the Cedar Stone Cafe. Now, let's talk about that free checking account, because that's kind of been their signature product. Of course, loans of all kinds, as I mentioned. I mean, whether it's a business loan, a personal loan, a car loan, they've got them all, and they can figure out a plan for you as best fits what you are capable of taking care of, and they have your best interest at heart when it comes to loans. But I think where they really show it is with that free checking account, free in every sense of the word. Free checks, free online banking with bill pay, no service charge or minimum balance, and there's no ATM fees. Now, if you use a foreign ATM machine, they will reimburse you the fee. And if you've ever done that, you know those fees can range from maybe $3, $4, $5, or $6, and Cedar Stone is going to cover that. So you can bank just about anywhere in the world where there's an ATM machine, and that's just the way it is. Simple banking, simply better. Cedar Stone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson. Okay, we are a little bit early, but I'm going to go ahead and introduce my guest this morning. We do have an election coming up in November, and there are some local candidates. We've got a couple of city council races here in the city of Lebanon that are where there's two people running, and today we're going to be talking with one of those. Sean Hicks is with us this morning, and I believe it is Ward 3 that you are running from. Sean, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman.
Well, it's nice to have you here today, and as I usually do, I mean, the first thing we want to do is know a little bit about you, and then I'm going to ask you why you're running. But tell us about Sean Hicks.
Absolutely. Well, again, good morning, Coleman, and thank you again for having me. I really appreciate the time that you guys take to do reach out here with the candidates and provide the citizens with all the good information for the elections. Well, my name is Sean Hicks, of course, and I live over on South Tarver Avenue. My wife, Lori, and I have lived here for almost 10 years. We bought an old house over there at auction and fixed it up, renovated it, an historic home. We've got a love for historic properties. We actually moved down from Michigan, where we had spent 17 years prior to living in another small historic city called Marshall. From before that, we lived in Chicago area, where my wife was born and raised, and I was born in southern Indiana many years ago. So we've been all up through the Midwest. Really loved coming here to Lebanon. What really drew us here was the small town, the small town feel, but close to Nashville. And we also needed somewhere where my wife's parents would agree to come move in with us. They were, aging and retired out in Arizona, and we wanted to kind of take care of them. And they didn't want to move to Michigan, obviously, a little too cold coming from Arizona. So they had lived in Memphis for a while, and then they agreed that Nashville was a good area. And I've worked in technology, the last 20 plus years. So I work remote, so it doesn't really matter where I live. So we found an old house here, renovated it, and built an in-law suite, and they've been living with us now for 5 years. He's going to be 91 in November, and she'll be 92.
Oh, wow.
And doing really well and enjoying Middle Tennessee.
Sean, why are you running for this seat?
Well, it's kind of an interesting story, but basically the reason I'm running is because my opponent Camille Burdine invited me to. About 4 years ago, during her first campaign, Camille was walking through the city, going door to door like we all do, and we had a great chat in front of my house as I was stripping paint and fixing the front of the house up. And she said, "Hey, I would really appreciate your vote. I'm going to help support the historic neighborhoods and the residents." And everybody on the block got behind her and got the yard signs in the yard and supported her run. And she won the election, which was fantastic. But then about 2 months after she was sworn in, a house on North Hatton, 110 North Hatton, a friend of mine sold it to go live close to her parents. And a couple realtors purchased the home, and they wanted to convert it to an office, have a residential office area and sell the property as an office. Well, the residents didn't like that too much because, it is a historic neighborhood. So we got a petition together of about 120 signatures and came before the Planning Commission, and the Planning Commission, rightfully so, denied the request, which was fantastic, listened to the residents. At the subsequent council meeting, Ms. Burdine got up and lobbied hard for the council to overturn the Planning Commission and allow it to be an office. And they did that. They actually overturned the Planning Commission and it allowed it to be sold as an office, which unfortunately it wasn't sold as an office. But then Camille went on to work for that realtor who had owned that property, and I thought that was really kind of an odd thing. So after the meeting, I walked up and I asked her, I said, well, we just voted for you a couple of months ago. You're going to protect our neighborhoods, and this is definitely not good for our neighborhood. And her comment to me was, well, if you don't like this, then you can do something about it in 4 years. So I took that as an invitation to run for office, and here I am today.
Is this the driving force behind your candidacy, really?
Well, it really is. A driving force is basically residents and neighborhoods. Because then about a year or so later after that, there was a property down on 940 South Maple. And the same thing happened. A resident sold to a developer. They wanted to tear down the house and build 32 units on a 2-acre lot. Exact same thing. Planning Commission denied it. Residents got signatures. And then the current council person, got everyone to vote to overrule it at the council. And as I've been watching the growth in Ward 3, which has been wonderful to see Lebanon grow and kind of evolve over the last 10 years, and there's been a lot of great things happening. And Mayor Bell's been doing a wonderful job, bringing different new industries and things to our area, and those are real exciting for the residents. What's not so exciting is the high-density housing, especially in Ward 3. Ward 3 is the oldest ward in the city. When we run from East College over to Castle Heights to Bedore on the north and all the way south till the country. And there's a lot of older homes, older neighborhoods, and that's been a single-family resident area forever. And now they're tearing down houses, building tall skinnies. So just talking to the neighbors, the general feeling that the neighborhoods are losing their character and the historic nature and just what really makes neighborhoods.
If you're elected to this position, what can you do to, well, I guess you're wanting more the status quo, if that's the right expression to use here. You don't want to see some of the things happen, or more of the things happening that you are seeing. What will you do? What can you do?
So there's only so much that one person can do on the council. You're one of 6. But one of the things we can do is we can inform the council, inform the mayor what the people really want. Be the ear and listen to and advocate for the residents, because they'll tell you what they need and want. A classic example is there was a situation over on South Pennsylvania where there was a boarding house going in, And there were some gray areas in zoning going on, and some residents were unhappy with some of the things. And Mayor Bell and Paul Corder, listened to the city, the residents, and they started to make some changes. And just last night, they passed an ordinance, making some moves in the right direction to, provide safer areas for those type of facilities. One of the things I really think is important is you have to grow. But there's two things that can damage a company, a city, a state, any type of organization, and that is you either grow too slow or you grow too fast. You have to kind of find that sweet spot. And in Lebanon, sometimes we'll get this growth spurt, and sometimes some things happen that aren't really good in that spurt because they're kind of spur of the moment. So we have to kind of moderate that growth. We have plenty of areas to build multifamily homes and apartments and townhomes and condos, and we need that type of inventory for the different demographics here. But we don't need them at the expense of the older neighborhoods. So we can put the Hamilton Springs, wonderful development. It's in the right spot. It's right by the transit corridor. It's perfect for people going in from Nashville. But we don't need, high-rise apartment buildings right down in the middle of Ward 3. That's the character and the heart of Lebanon, and we need to maintain that heart and then let the things grow around it.
Okay, Sean Hicks is my guest, and he is candidate for Ward 3 on the City Council. We'll take a break and talk more here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And now let's check back in with Commander Chuck with on-time traffic, see what's happening out there on those roadways. And traffic brought to you by Bates Ford, located at 1673 West Main Street. They got a low-price tire guarantee on all tires they sell every day, up to 30 days after the sale. They beat any competitor's pricing on the tires they sell. And you can give them a call at 444-8221. Here's Commander Chuck.
Good morning. I'm looking at a crash over here on Briley Parkway eastbound right at Whites Creek Pike. It's caused a pretty good delay over here. They got the right lane blocked. That's Briley Parkway going eastbound at Whites Creek Pike as traffic increases big time on 24 up through the Hickory Hollow area. You got all that heavy traffic coming in from Rutherford County, coming in from Wilson County right now, down I-40 westbound, passing 109. That actually looks pretty good at the moment. Hey, for customized Tennessee t-shirts and so much more, check out RockyTopTNShirts.com. That's RockyTopTNShirts.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Bob McDonald with Cedarstone Bank. For 17 years now, we've been serving our communities in Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and Donaldson. We can serve you in the way that best fits your needs. We have all the banking technology, we have beautiful buildings, but more importantly, we have great people. On behalf of our board of directors, I thank you for banking with us. If you don't currently bank with us, please come by and visit us in any of our locations. It would be our pleasure to talk with you about how simple banking is simply better.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Fall is here. Shop Springs Creamery invites you to their fall festivities on the farm. Grab some fresh ice cream and enjoy the corn maze, shell corn pit, dummy roping, and the corn cannon, happening September 16th through October 30th. For more info, visit shopspringscreamery.com. For fresh ice cream, fall festivities, and fun for the whole family, make plans to visit Shop Springs Creamery 4 miles off I-40 towards Watertown, September 16th through October 30th. Happy fall, y'all!
Your Titans go back on the road, and this time to Lucas Oil Stadium this Sunday to take on the Indianapolis Colts. Titans countdown happens at 11. Then Mike Keith and Dave McGinnis call Titans and Colts in the First Division Battle of 2022 with a kickoff at noon.
Brought to you by Fakes and Hooker, Bates Ford, Steve Mall Plumbing, The Jewelers, and the City of Lebanon Gas in Tennessee. 811, call before you dig.
This is Wilson County's home for real country music and the Tennessee Titans. Real Country 98.9.
And we continue here on a Wednesday morning. If you just joined us, we welcome you. Sean Hicks is my guest this morning. Sean Hicks resides in Ward 3 and is running to represent Ward 3 on the City Council. The election will be on a Tuesday in November. And I guess you've been campaigning for a while. I've seen signs already out. In fact, both of you who are seeking this office have a lot of signs out in that area.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been really on the road for a couple of months now, and walking door to door every evening. I work full time from home, but every evening after dinner, I go out and get a good couple hours in. I try to get a few hours on Saturday. I don't want to bug people too much on their weekends. Those are very important. And of course, no campaigning on Sunday. Everybody needs that to themselves. And so, yeah, I've been out and about. This is my first time ever running for public office. And but I've really enjoyed going door to door, listening to people's, not only the concerns, but their impressions of the city. And by and large, most people here in Lebanon love Lebanon. Just like my wife and I, we have wonderful neighbors, great city services. Police, fire, everyone. We've had to use all those services at some point in time, and it's just been amazing.
What's been the response when you're running? Have you been favorably received? People listening to you? What kind of response you get?
I've had great response and great acceptance. I only had one problem last Saturday when I knocked on a door and a guy opened the door and said, "I'm watching the Tennessee game," and closed the door. And I said, "Well, absolutely. I guess I better get home and watch the game as well." No, it's been great. People have shared both their, things they love about the city and the things that we could do better. And one of them is infrastructure in Ward 3. Ward 3 is old. It's been around for a while. We have some sewers that are older. Of course, we have storm drain issues, with flooding. But there's a lot of things we can do better in Ward 3 to invest. We've been investing all over the city in terms of the periphery, out west with some of the subdivisions, the new South Hartman Gateway, which is going to be a fantastic development, but it costs a lot of money, to get the services there. But we have residents here, just right here downtown, that when it rains, their commode bubbles water because something's up with the sewer and the drain water. We have culverts, that are collapsing on corners. Now we're getting some places where we're building some sidewalks, but we're not getting the curbs and the drainage alongside of it. We have areas like down on Hobbs in Cleveland. There's a little baseball park down there in a quiet little neighborhood. But there's building a row of condominiums on townhomes on one side of it, and then more apartments on the left side behind the cemetery, and they've already got drainage problems. So unless we really engineer that well, and I trust that Jeff Baines and Regina are going to really look at that and hopefully fix that before they let more building go on. But the reception's been wonderful, especially for me not being born and raised here.
How do you perceive yourself working with the other 5 members of the council if you're elected? You're going to represent Ward 3, but you have to work together with 5 others and the mayor as well. Do you perceive any issues or problems in that sort?
No, I don't. I mean, I've had a lot of great relationships with the city. I've had a lot of code people out at my house because I've been building and renovating. So I've had people come for building inspections. Again, Jeff Baines I count him as a good friend. Paul Corder and we've talked a lot. I count Paul as a good friend. We have good conversations in his office some days. He likes the high density and I don't. So we kind of agree to disagree and we talk through the differences. And I think that's the key with any government or any group or team. And I really see the council as a team that basically needs to work together, come to a consensus, understand each other's needs. It isn't just about my Ward 3, because I'll have a vote in things that are coming up for the other wards. So I need to listen to those residents as well as the other councilmen and their opinions, but vote accordingly. So I really think that the council by and large is a good team, and they do work together. And I think adding my experience, I've run big manufacturing plants with staffs of over 450 people. I've run $9 million IT budgets. So I've got a lot of experience working with and managing teams of people from broad backgrounds. I've managed development teams in Hyderabad, India, and Kiev, Ukraine, and Argentina. So I understand diversity and the importance that you need to bring consensus together. But you also got to stand for your principles. And if something's wrong for Ward 3, I'm not going to vote for it. And I'm going to push back, but I'm going to do it in a professional way with facts. Here's the facts of why I feel, emotion has no place in government, as it does in any business. If you let emotion rule you, then you'll probably make some bad mistakes and some bad decisions.
One of the big issues seems to be growth. Mm-hmm. And there are some who feel that it needs to be slowed down. Others bring it on. Do you think we have maybe grown too fast? Do we need to put a damper on some of this, or more selective in the growth areas? How do you feel about all that?
Well, I think we walk a fine line between being selective and inclusive, right? So we need to make sure that we're not picking and choosing what we think we want, because a lot of these companies that are coming here, whether it be national retail or restaurants or even industry, they've already done their research and they know that this demographic fits for them. We just need to make sure that they fit our character, because they're looking at the statistics and the numbers. I spent 23 years in data analytics. So you can look at data analytics all day long, but you have to read between the lines and look at the human side of it, and does it really fit here? So I think growth is always good. Again, you can't go too slow and you can't go too fast. We need to find the right places for things. So light industrial belongs in a light industrial zoning. Heavy industrial, obviously. When it comes to residential, again, Ward 3, I think, has got some opportunity for some growth and some revitalization. There's some empty lots and things that could be built a little bit better. But I think, we need to balance that out. And we also don't need to be spending a lot of money drawing them here. Again, they've already done their research. We don't need to give tax breaks to people who have already decided to come here. Why give good money after bad? I mean, again, it's like, well, they've already decided to come here. They bought the property. Why are we going to give them a tax incentive? Now, if they want to expand and add some more jobs and things, then there's an opportunity there. But again, we've got to be careful. Invest in the infrastructure, not someone else's business.
Well, we've spent a lot of time talking about growth here, but that seems like that's been the big thing for quite some time. But at the same time, we've as we get more people, we've got to provide more water and more sewer. We've got to have our streets. All that, I guess, is considered infrastructure. Talk about that.
Yeah, so infrastructure in general, that's one of the key pillars of my campaign. And it is, we have to make sure we be mindful and invest in that infrastructure. You're right. Is our water plant able to handle 5,000 more people? Can we handle the wastewater? Can we do those things? And I rely heavily upon Margaret and Jeff and the people that run those facilities to let us know when they're at capacity, when they think they're going to be running out of capacity. How do we then finance that? Work with Stuart Lawson, our finance director, and make sure that we have the monies available that we can invest in that. And that's what concerns me when we're spending larger amounts of money on things that aren't true infrastructure, like the sports complex. I was a huge fan when Bernie Ash bought that property in 2019. He bought 140 acres for $2.5 million, which was a pretty good deal. And because I really wanted to get those kids off the soccer field at the airport. And I thought, oh my God, yeah, surely we're just going to go out there and mow the fields down, flatten it out, get those kids off of there and get them safe. Well, that's 2022, and we're still now working on the $38 million sports complex, which we don't need a $38 million sports complex to keep the kids safe playing soccer. Let's move them, put in some lights, add some bleachers. Again, incremental, moderate growth. And with the main focus, we got to wait 2 more years for that complex to be built. Meanwhile, we got 1,200 kids playing soccer still by the airport.
We're getting close to the end of our time. One other thing, I'll let you summarize your candidacy. Is there, as most people do not want to hear the word tax increase. Is there a time and place for that? When would you vote for a tax increase? Would you ever?
I would vote for a tax increase when the time is right. And that time is when infrastructure needs outgrow what we're able to do with our current revenue stream. Now, we are bringing in more revenue. Growth doesn't pay for infrastructure all by itself. These developer fees and all that don't really pay for it. So there will potentially have to be a tax increase at some point if the city grows, again, too fast. If we grow in a moderate way, you can mitigate those. And you can make small increases, 5 cents, 6 cents. You don't need a 40% increase, overnight to shock people's financial budgets.
All right, we've got about a minute left for you to summarize all you've said this morning. Okay. So I'll just ask you, why should the people of Ward 3 elect you, Sean Hicks, as their next representative on the City Council?
Well, thank you, Coleman. I appreciate that. Well, again, my name is Sean Hicks, and I want to let everyone know that I'm 100% self-funded. So I'm paying for my entire campaign. We have a city full of bankers, realtors, developers, which we need all those fine professionals to keep our city growing. But I want to make sure that I have no conflicts of interest. So I'm taking no donations from anyone. I'm funding my entire campaign. I think public service is a privilege, and it shouldn't be something that we do for monetary gain. So I'm going to be donating my city salary of $11,400 to Ward 3 food banks. I think that's, I asked Sylvia over at the city, can I not take the salary if I get elected? She says, no, it's state law. So I'm going to donate that. Because again, I think it's all about the residents. I'm just a software engineer. I don't own property. I'm not a landlord. I don't have any vested interest, that could infect that. And also, if elected, I want to make sure that I'm truly the voice of the people. And if you don't want something, I'm going to vote against it. Now, again, if it's something that's really that we need for the city, like increase, if we have to raise taxes because we have to have a new sewer plant, I'm sorry, we have to do that. That's just the facts. But at the end of the day, I'm here to represent and advocate for residents. And everyone else can take care of themselves because that's what they do. They're businesses. They know their business. So if they can build here, they can afford to build here. We just need to make sure we manage that accordingly, have the good zoning in place, and all live together as a community. Because at the end of the day, we're just a community of neighborhoods here in Lebanon, and it's the people that matter.
Well, I want to thank you for coming out, sharing your views with us this morning. Sean Hicks, candidate for Ward 3 City Council. Thank you.
Thank you again.
And that is part one of Coleman and Company. Hope you'll keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And now let's check back in with Commander Chuck and on-time traffic. See how we're doing out there on those roadways. Traffic brought to you by Absolute Kubota, and they feature Red Max, a complete inventory of weed eaters, blowers, and hedge trimmers for the commercial user and homeowner, up to a 4-year warranty. And you can stop on by there at 1506 West Main Street in Lebanon, or give them a call at 615-449-6171 with any questions you may have. And here's Commander Chuck.
Good morning. They're wrapping up two separate wrecks over here on Briley Parkway. Both of them are eastbound. This one's finally over to the side near Whites Creek Pike on Briley Parkway eastbound. They still got one more vehicle to move on a separate crash just up from that on Briley Parkway eastbound right at I-65. Heavy traffic coming up from the south now on 65 up through Williamson County 24. Coming in from the Jolton area. They got a little bit busy a few minutes ago there. Again, right past the Jolton exit. Ober-Gatlinburg Restaurant and Lounge celebrating Oktoberfest. Check out all the fun details, obergatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
When you needed portable heating, cooling, generators and remediation equipment, contractor tools, or any other equipment or solution to help you get the job done, you trusted Absolute Rental and Supply. Now that same team brings you more equipment and more solutions as Herc Rentals. From construction and industrial to HVAC and homeowner, Herc Rentals has the gear and expertise to get jobs done efficiently, effectively, and safely. Visit us today at 1325 Main Street in Lebanon or online at hercrentals.com. That's HERCrentals.com.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
Hi, everybody. Tommy Bryan. Join me along with Harry Stafford, Bob Lee, and Joe Gardner as we bring you Lebanon High School football. Brought to you by Bates Ford, Bakes and Hooker, K. Maynard Insurance, Lebanon Police Chief Mike Justice, Wilson County Sheriff Robert Bryan, Kenny Salas, Sports World, and Wilson Bank and Trust. Lebanon travels to Bedford County Friday to play Shelbyville Central. Pregame at 6:30 on WANT and WCOR.
Our weather is staying comfortable this week with more mild days and cool nights. Look for a high of just 68 degrees today with low humidity. Temperatures will fall to 45 degrees tonight, and we should see a high of 72 for your Thursday. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm number 1 Ned.
And we continue. Welcome to part 2 of Coleman and Company here on a Wednesday. Time for us to talk about Herc Rentals. And I have a new gentleman who is representing Herc this morning, Dave Hurst. Dave, good morning.
Well, good morning, Coleman.
It is nice to have you with us today, and we welcome you to our program. And you are the assistant branch manager.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And of course, Herc Rentals, formerly Absolute Rental and Supply at 1325 West Main in Lebanon. Keith Illy comes here most of the time. He's the area manager. But Dave is with us today. And before we talk about Herc, let's talk just a little bit about you. How long you been with Herc Rentals?
So I've been with Herc Rentals since the acquisition, so about 4 months. So I would have been with Absolute Rental working under Philip for a little over 2 years. And then the acquisition would have happened, and then they asked me to stay on, and so I've.
So you actually worked for Philip for 2 years?
Yes,
Well,
I
okay.
did. Yep.
Well, I guess I was just assuming you were a new kid on the block, so to speak. Well, you know all about it then.
A little bit.
Well, as assistant branch manager, what are some of your responsibilities?
So I basically oversee day-to-day operations, in Keith's absence. He oversees our branch and obviously the branch in Nashville. And so part of my role is I work at the counter for a couple hours in the morning, and then I walk the yard, making sure, fleet's up to spec, meet with our service techs, training, and then in training myself. So, I mean, I always tell people there's not enough hours in the day.
Yeah. Well, Herc Rentals is a pretty big operation. There's a lot more opportunities here now that you have this than we had previously. And you've experienced this yourself, having been there 2 years prior.
Correct. Yeah, one of the big things that I think it's been really noticeable is the amount of fleet that, we're able to get in. Yesterday we had 15 new scissor lifts come in, a couple new boom lifts come in. So that's been really good for us, from a growth standpoint, being able to really grow. One of the things, we have contractors calling us, and sometimes we just didn't have enough to go around. And now sometimes I feel like we got more than enough to go around. So.
Well, the website is available at that's hercrentals.com. And of course, the phone number, if you've got questions, 615-443-RENT. Now, I understand you can do rental on the internet now. Is that right?
Yes, sir. That's correct. Yeah. So one of the main things
that's a new thing. It's different.
Correct. Yeah. So one of the new things that Herc is pushing is the ability to be able to do a reservation online. And what will that do is it'll actually trigger an email to myself and our counter staff, and then we'll reach out to the customer, confirm everything. One of the great things that Philip instilled in me and the other counter people there is to make sure we're asking the right questions, and making sure we're qualifying the right equipment for the right project. And so we continue to do that even as Herc Rentals. We'll reach out to that customer, confirm the reservation, confirm what he's getting, and making sure that he's, getting that right piece of equipment.
Dave, you really provide a great service, and it's been going on for 20 years. Herc has come in and made some changes, but what I hear is it's mostly, if not all, positive. You offer more. You actually are able to help more people now than ever before.
Yeah, I think there have been some changes. There'll be some things going away, like some of the small sales items we have. But one of the great things that we're doing is we're bringing in some of the smaller equipment, even some of the handheld stuff. Case in point, one of the things our customers used to ask us for a lot was a sewer camera. We never had one. We now have, I think it's a 200-foot sewer camera in our rental inventory. We're also getting another order of core drills for the contractors. The guys are drilling through concrete, walls and things like that. Mm-hmm. We're getting a couple specialty items like that. And then we're also, I would say in the coming months, beginning some more of the what we call floor care products. So grinders, sweepers, things of that nature that are designed specifically for the floor application. So in addition, we always carried sealer products, for sealing your driveways and sealing your concrete, your garages. So this will just be an additional add-on to that. So.
Well, again, the number is 615-443-RENT and the website hercrentals.com. And you just, so many people go to the website anymore. There's a wealth of information. I guess just about anything you need to know is right there. And if you got a question, there's the telephone.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, I always say the website is always a great source of information, but yeah, nothing probably beats just picking up the phone, giving us a call, and anyone on the counter would love to connect with you and help you out.
And you are open Monday through Friday, 7 to 5. You're open Saturday, 7 to noon.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
All right. Well, Dave Hurst, thanks so much for being with us this morning, and I hope they send you back. You did a good job.
Oh, well, thank you, Coleman. It's been a pleasure being here.
Dave Hurst, Assistant Branch Manager for Herc Rentals, 1325 West Main here in Lebanon. Thank you. All right, we're 21 before the hour, and this morning we're going to be talking about an event that is coming up soon, and that is the Lebanon Breakfast Rotaries Fish Fry, going to be held on Saturday, October 1st. Now, my guests have sat down at the table here, and your name?
Randy Ryan.
Randy Ryan and Lauren Smith. All right. Well, you're going to be here to talk about that this morning. Randy, I guess starting with you, tell us about the Lebanon Breakfast Rotary.
Well, the Breakfast Rotary, I've only been in the Rotary about, this is my third year, and it's a great organization. Rotary International is a great organization, has had an awful lot to do with eradicating polio worldwide and all of that. So I've just really enjoyed being in it. We do a lot of local charity work and everything, and it's a great time.
What's your part in the fish fry?
In the fish fry, I'm kind of coordinating the thing, you know.
right.
We've got all these volunteers and everything, and I was a little bit afraid it'd be kind of like herding cats, you know, but it hasn't turned out that way. Everybody knows what their job is. A lot of them have done it this is our 10th year, and a lot of them have done it the whole time.
All right, Lauren Smith. Tell us about you're in the Rotary Club, I take it.
Yes, so this year I am actually the Rotary Club president, and I think Randy was a little soft on himself. He's definitely the chair of the fish fry this year, so he is head man in charge, and he just hauls me around from speaking event, or he's like, "Now, Lauren, your job is really just to be there. Like, we're all going to put it on." I was like, "Okay, I'll stay out of your way, I promise."
Well, I'm glad to hear you speak well of Rotary, and especially the Breakfast Rotary. I do know a few members of the Noon Club who talk
sorry.
about a little competition there occasionally. But your 10th annual fish fry, and this is a big fundraiser. I was talking to Ed James yesterday, and in fact, he's the one sort of set up the time maybe 3 or 4 months ago, so we'd be sure and have a slot for y'all here the week off. And I guess what you do at the fair, at your booth there, and then the fish fry is at least the two big fundraisers
Yes,
that you
they
have.
are.
So we want everybody to know about this. It is this Saturday from 4 to 7, and going to be at the Farm Bureau Expo Center.
Yes.
So I know all of you are looking forward to that, and tickets are available now, and I understand they'll be available at the door as well.
Yes.
They are, and we'll have live music and silent auction. And the main goal of the fish fry is to raise $75,000 so that we can give all of that money right back into local communities and projects. And I think we're going to make that goal this year. So we want to encourage everyone to come out to the fish fry.
70.
You like how I said that? $75,000 off of a fish fry one day.
That is an ambitious goal.
Oh, it's a goal we're going to meet.
Have you done anything like that in the past?
Last year we raised $63,000.
63.
And gave all of it back, 100% back into the community.
Yeah. Well, I think before we go to the break here, we need to tell people a little bit about what they can expect. Now, in some ways, a fish fry is a fish fry, and a fish dinner is a fish dinner, whatever. But you've got a lot of things that go with this, like you mentioned, live music. But what's going to be available on the plate? Do you?
Well, we'll of course, first of all, fish. And in the South, you got to have hush puppies with fish, and then, of course, fries, and then we'll have tea and soft drinks and water, for people to drink, and also coleslaw, which that I think again in the South, when you're having a fish fry, you got to have a coleslaw. So, and then we'll have a lot of homemade style desserts, and those will be available also.
Well, now it says here on your flyer you're going to have chicken tenders as well.
We-
Now, is
we
that an
will
either or can you have fish and chicken tenders?
It's an either or,
Okay.
and some people either won't or can't eat fish, and so we decided that we needed to have some chicken tenders.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you've got it so that nobody has a reason not to.
That's exactly right, and so we're asking everybody to dig deep and come out and bring the whole family and buy these plates, and let's raise this money and then get it back into these local charities.
What is the price of a ticket?
$15.
15.
15, yes.
$15 for a ticket, and this, I guess, is all you can eat.
It is not all you can
No.
eat, but now you can buy all the tickets and then you can eat all that you can eat.
That's right. We'll sell you 10 tickets if you
And
want
you
to.
can have
if you
as
need that.
much as you want. But now, I don't know if you've been to Rotary Breakfast, but I've got a crew that can eat, so we had to start limiting plates.
Okay, I got it. But live music, and of course, you're going to be inside, so you're going to be held. You are.
Yes, so we are inside for the fish fry, but I tell you, something we discovered during kind of the season of COVID was we offered a drive-through. So if you didn't want to come in, you could partake in the drive-through, pick up your meals, and go home. We're going to keep the drive-through going this year, so you have both options. You can do the drive-through if you don't want to come in or don't have time, but we absolutely want you to come in, listen to some music, see some old friends, and just have a really good time.
All right, but if you choose to come in, it's going to be a roof over your head. So
And air
rain
conditioning.
is not going to be a
Yes,
problem other
no.
maybe than getting in. And it may be a little rain, come to think of it. I think I saw that in the forecast. It's this hurricane.
Just a mild hurricane, yes.
But again, all of this is this Saturday, 4 to 7 at the Farm Bureau Expo Center, the Fairgrounds Award Ag Center right here in Lebanon, and the Lebanon Breakfast Rotary. We'll talk more in a moment. This break here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And now let's check back in with Commander Chuck with on-time traffic, see what's happening out there on the roadways. Traffic brought to you by Bates Ford, located at 1673 West Main Street. They got the oil change special going on, $34.95 up to 5 quarts plus tax and disposal. And you can give them a call at 444-8221. And now here's Commander Chuck.
Morning. Wrapping up that wreck from earlier over here on Briley Parkway eastbound, right at I-65. We had 2 separate wrecks over here close together. The other one's way over to the side now on Briley Parkway at Whites Creek Pike. It's pretty crowded now on 40 westbound, coming out of Mount Juliet, there out of Wilson County, all the way into Hermitage. Lots of radar out here this morning down I-40 through Dixon County. For customized Tennessee t-shirts and so much more, check out RockyTopTNShirts.com. That's RockyTopTNShirts.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Cumberland University football is back in action this Saturday, October 1st, as the Phoenix travel to Williamsburg, Kentucky to take on the University of the Cumberlands. This is Christian Raposi of the Cumberland Sports Network inviting you to join Bob Lee and myself this Saturday. Pre-game coverage begins at 5:30, leading up to a 6 o'clock kickoff, right here on WANT and WCOR for play-by-play coverage of Cumberland football. Phoenix football plays this Saturday at 6 o'clock here on WANT and WCOR.
Contact Stephen Lowry Land Clearing for all your land clearing needs. Whether it's clearing trails for ATVs, reclaiming pasture, or clearing your land of brush and trees, Stephen Lowry can get the job done. He works closely with customers, adjusting to make changes as you want. Steve Lowry will give you quality work at a price that you can afford. He will also beat any written estimate. Call Stephen Lowry at 615-970-8154 for all your land clearing needs. That's Stephen Lowry Land Clearing, 615-970-8154. Join us for the first annual Sips and Sounds of September event on September 29th from 6 to 9 p.m. at Rural Hill Farm in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. The event will feature 3 very talented singer-songwriters, Ava Page, Marla Goodman, and Tiffany Turner. In addition to the live music, there will be a silent auction, great food, and great sips. That's September 29th at Sips and Sounds of September. All proceeds will benefit Wilson Rides, local transportation for senior citizens who no longer drive. Tickets are now on sale on Eventbrite.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Our final segment here for a Wednesday morning. And if you just turned our way, thank you so much. Randy Ryan and Lauren Smith, the Lebanon Breakfast Rotary, are with us this morning. And they're talking about their 10th annual fish fry coming up this Saturday at the Farm Bureau Expo Center. Now, I don't know what else we need to talk about other than to remind everybody who didn't hear it the first time that this is a fundraiser. This is a big fundraiser. And one of the wonderful things about it is you're hoping to raise $75,000 and put that all back into the community. And Lauren, you seem to be excited about that.
You know, there's nothing better than giving away $75,000. I think, you said before it was a big goal to raise it. I was like, it's actually a bigger goal to give it away. We've had the most fun coming up with projects inside of Wilson County. So it's not just the community. I mean, all this goes right back into Wilson County.
What are some of the things that will get the attention here, that possible recipients of $75,000?
In the past, we've donated funds back to Sherry's Hope, Empower Me Day Camp, Lebanon Special School District, Wilson County School District, kind of the Stuff the Bus programs, some of the other programs.
And one of the things we look for is for people in Rotary and outside of Rotary to come to us and apply for a grant, and we look at it very carefully, make sure that they are an organization, that needs the money, will
worthy,
steward it well.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
But don't you have some scholarships? If you don't now, I know in the
To
past.
Cumberland University, yes.
Number of scholarships that have been given as well. So
that's correct.
So it's not for your club. It's the club is just a way of raising money and helping people here.
That's exactly right. And what we've found is that Lebanon is one of the most giving communities anywhere.
We show up big when it's time to give, and we've been really happy about that.
I don't think there's any doubt about that, and I've felt that way for a long time. We are a giving community.
Absolutely.
We take care very well, I think, of those in need, and
now we need you to be a hungry community, and we need you to come and eat as much fish as you can.
That's right.
All right. 4 to 7 this Saturday. Now, one of the other things that you're doing, and you mentioned this right before we went to the break. Tickets are $15, and it will be available at the door. You can buy them ahead of time, and I guess just about any Breakfast Rotary member has some. And if they don't, I know Ed James does.
That's right.
But what you were talking about, you can come and eat, and there's live music, and of course it's going to be dry on the inside. Should it be raining on the outside? But one of the other things, and maybe we do more of this anymore over the period of time that COVID was here, there was so many people picking up food and taking it home or taking it somewhere and not going inside, and that is going to be available. Anybody that wants to just come by and pick it up, pickups will be available.
We will have the drive-thru open, and we're very lucky. I think that's why we pick the Expo Center year after year, because it can accommodate a drive-through scenario for us.
We'll be on the south end of the main Expo building there, and so it's easy to come in and out of that parking lot down there.
Okay. All right. Well. Again, what people can get? You want to tell us, or you got this memorized, or you want me to read it off here?
With the food, go ahead. Let's see. Let's pop quiz you. Let's see if you can.
Well, there's fish.
There's fish, of
there's
course.
Hush puppies. There's chicken tenders if you don't want fish.
For the children mainly.
Fries, slaw, tea, soft drinks, water, and many homemade desserts.
Desserts.
Now, the dessert's extra.
No.
No. Okay, so you get your choice of a homemade dessert.
Yes.
To go along with the rest.
All right, you nailed it.
And takeouts are available, and all of this for $15, and it goes to a worthy cause. I guess I was a little bit surprised when you threw out the figure of $75,000. That's a lot of money.
That's some good fish.
That's a lot of fish.
That's good fish.
But of course, if somebody wants to add a little bit to that 15, I'm sure you'll take that as a
please,
donation.
please.
So, yes.
Well, what's the live music?
It is John Langford's band.
Probably just going to be a 2 or 3 piece,
acoustic.
And what we find is people love to talk and everything, so it's just
a little
kind of
background noise.
Background music. So it'll be a lot of fun, though. They do a great job.
All right. We pretty much covered that, but we haven't. You Breakfast Rotary, you meet in the morning early. You meet for breakfast.
That's right, every Thursday.
Every week.
Yes.
And how long you been a Rotarian?
I've been a Rotarian 3 years now. Soon be 3
What
years.
well, I didn't even ask you what do you do? You're not retired.
I'm actually retired, supposedly.
Yeah.
But, I'm one of the owners of the Zaxby's here in Lebanon, and so they get me involved in some of the work, sometimes to their detriment. But
well, we got a minute or two. Tell us a little bit about where you've been all your life and what you've done. I want to know in a thumbnail sketch of your life.
Yeah, I had a career in the Navy first for 8 years, and then the Coast Guard for 17 years. And then I was the director of security at Delta Airlines, and then left there and went to now the world's largest security company, Allied Universal, and was there for 10 years. And then finally retired, for real retired.
What brought you to Lebanon?
We built the Zaxby's here, about 19 years ago, I believe it was. And it was just, we had family here and everything, and we knew it was a great place, a great opportunity and all that. And we just fell in love with Lebanon. One of the reasons was it's such a great community, friendly people, great giving hearts and all of that, you know.
And what got you to Rotary?
My brother-in-law, Lee Oliver, is a member of the Rotary, and so Lee encouraged me to get into the Rotary. He said, we do some great things, and we were already involved with some of the charities and all, and so that's sounded like something I really would enjoy.
Always love to hear people's stories, and everybody's got their own. Lauren, you're next.
So I'm an executive director of a nonprofit clinic in Wilson County. We serve the uninsured, and I've been with Rotary for about 5 years now.
Now, you're cutting it too short. Where'd you grow up?
I'm a hometown girl. I'm from Mount Juliet.
Mount Juliet.
Mhm.
All right.
Mount Juliet.
Where'd you go to high school?
Mount Juliet High School.
Okay. All right. What got you into Rotary?
The same scenario where we're a club of camaraderie, I think. You have a friend who's already in there and you're invited and you fall in love with the group of people. We're a club of 82 members and we just enjoy each other's company every Thursday morning at 6:55.
Where do you meet?
At the First Methodist Church in Lebanon. And I promise we'll be done by 7:30 and we'll have you at work by 8.
Well, have you held any offices yet in Rotary? Or?
The president office is the first position I've held as a committee member. So
Yeah. Well, but you're enjoying it.
love it.
And I guess you're always looking for new members.
We are. We invite the whole community to come and join us. Come try us on.
Absolutely.
Well, I was looking here at the flyer. It answers a question that I asked earlier. I didn't even realize this was here. And I think y'all touched on all this, but how some of the local causes that you do support and some of the proceeds, and well, all the proceeds going to the community here, and some of it at least will go for the Wilson Books from Birth, Sherry's Hope. You mentioned both of those, Empower Me Center, and I mentioned the scholarships because I've heard of your scholarships over the years. Scholarships for Wilson County students to attend Cumberland, and then that's not all. There's more things, and that's why you're wanting to raise $75,000. The more you can raise here, the more you can help other people. So, again, it's this Saturday, 4 to 7. This Saturday is the first day of October. It's fish and fixins served from 4 to 7, as we said, with a little live music, little background music. But I'll tell you what, you are right. Randy, you are right that when people are sitting and eating and they wanting to talk, they don't want a bunch of loud music where they can't hear each other. So some background music to keep it from being boring, and a lot of conversation as you sit and enjoy it all.
Right.
Okay. And again, $15 is the price, and you can make a little donation. They would appreciate that as well. And I don't know much. We got a couple of minutes. Anything we've left out? Have we covered it all this morning, Laura?
I think we've covered it all. The only other thing is, in the South, we're in competition with each other all the time about hush puppy recipes and cold slaw recipes. So we welcome anyone who shows up and can give us some feedback on our hush puppies or our cold slaw. Because every year I think that is where it comes down to in the South. When people are like, was it a good fish fry? I'm like, well, my grandmother makes the hush puppies a little differently, but they were fine.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just want to give a shout out to all of our volunteers. They've been awesome. I'm a rookie at this year, so they've been really great to support me and to be very responsive and everything. And the fellow that has done it prior to me, and he's been my mentor here, is Van Turner. He's a great guy. And Pete Norman has been very supportive in getting the food together and everything. So I just want
The one and only Uncle Pete.
The one and only.
I'll tell you, he's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Well, I try to be careful when I invite him out here to not now wait a minute, to not interfere with his going to the Rotary on Thursday.
We appreciate that. Yes.
We do appreciate
Every
it.
once in a while, I can't help it. But most of the time, I said, "Oh, it's Thursday. I won't ask him. I'll pick another time."
Right.
But anyway, thank y'all for being with us this morning.
Thank you
It's
so
really good to
much.
have you.
We will
Randy
see you.
Ryan, Lauren Smith, Lebanon Breakfast Rotary. One more time, Fish Fry 2022, the 10th annual one to Farm Bureau Expo Center this Saturday, 4 to 7. $15 for fish and fixings, and you can get tickets at the door. So I think we've covered it. Thank you all for being with us.
Thank you so
Appreciate it.
much.
Well, that's going to do it for a Wednesday. Join us tomorrow for Coleman and Company. Till then, I wish you a wonderful day.